nourishing the body with key essential elements, feeling good about yourself, living life to the maximum capabilities, laughing with the ones we love. At Fytexia, we believe that everyone should have the chance to enjoy these fulfilling benefits on a daily basis. Our wish is to contribute to the improvement of the lives of people across the planet. Our team of scientists associate with a global network of scientific researchers to deliver active ingredients supported with clinical proof of efficacy and demonstrated mechanisms of action. The ingredients developed by Fytexia are used in formulas of the most advanced healthcare products. The ingredients we develop and manufacture in our privately owned facility are exported to more than 45 countries worldwide. Science, efficacy, and support. This is what Fytexia delivers.
A very good afternoon from Malaysia and welcome everyone. It is so great to see all of you here and I want to thank you for tuning in today's YouTube Live. I'm Michelle Wong, the Product Development Executive of Nexus Wise. To whom might not know us yet, in short, we are a leading health supplements ingredient distributor which specializes in diversified portfolio of nutraceutical ingredients. But let us get a little bit more deeper in what we are serving to the community. We discovered hidden resources in the Mother Nature and developed the science in it in our lab just to get one step closer to nourishing and enlightening humans' health, nutrition, and of course, your well-being. In Nexus Wise, we also demand more than just being a health ingredient distributor. And like what I said, we want to nourish millions, billions of life worldwide, and we call for a committed partner to make it work. And therefore, we have our collaborators, Fytexia. Both Fytexia and Nexus have been acknowledged for their innovations and share a common interest in developing excellence products supported by strong clinical data. And before we go any further, let me remind members of the floor, if you have any questions along the presentation, please do not hesitate to type them in the comment section below. We will then raise them up to the speaker during the sessions. And also, we would like to apologize if we are unable to answer any of your queries in these sessions. However, we will get back to you at the soonest. If you have not subscribed, follow and like us on our Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and also YouTube. Please do so as you do not want to miss any latest trend and updates. So let us begin our sessions with a topic I saw recently. So lately, it has been a huge focus on how inflammations, cardiovascular diseases, cancers, even COVID-19 is killing more and more people. And it has to do with something we call oxidative stress. It is actually the imbalance of antioxidants and pro-oxidants in our body from any forms of stimulus, no matter it's physical, psychological, or socially, that threaten our body can be labeled as a stressor. For instance, the sunlight, smoke, chemical that we breathe in, our daily diet, physical exercise, and even aging can be a stressor. And yet, antioxidants like polyphenols is still an underappreciated and under-consumed product. And therefore, there are actually thousands types of polyphenols that explore, but how many types of them do we actually consume in our daily diet? Are we actually able to take in different types of polyphenols for their specific usage? And are we able to take in at least 100 types of it in a meal out of 1,000 of them? Sounds very difficult and impossible, but it is actually practical with the help of Oxxynea. Up to 100 types of polyphenols in just one small, powerful pill. And now, I would like to invite our guest of honor to further share with us these miraculous ingredients. So let us welcome the Directors of Innovations and Scientific Affairs of Fytexia, one expert with over 15 years of experience in biological benefits of polyphenols, Dr. Julien. Dr. Julien, the time is yours now.
Do you hear me?
Yes, very clear.
Okay, good morning, Michel, and thank you for this complete and kind introduction. I introduce myself. I'm Dr. Julien from Fytexia. I'm the scientific director of the company, and I head the science and the development of this kind of ingredients you are speaking about that provides these antioxidant benefits to fulfill the organism with what is required to prevent from all these kind of diseases, including the non-communicable diseases and cardiovascular disease, that for which antioxidants are very important. Regarding the session today, I will speak about Oxxynea. Oxxynea is our ingredient that probably meets the most the proper definition of dietary supplements, because with Oxxynea, our goal is to complete our food intake with the polyphenols we don't get from our plate because our eating habits do not meet our needs in micronutrients, and with the aim to improve an increase of our overall antioxidant defense and protect our metabolism. Next slide, please. So first, maybe an introduction regarding what is important for the consumer expectation, and the prevention is something that we can give to her because it's the best way for them to anticipate the risk of this disease linked to their bad habits. So consumers want to adopt a prevention over cure way of life, and plant-based consumer want ingredients they know and they trust and they can understand. It's very important because the awareness of the consumer actually is a key point to cover. Oxxynea is formulated from a careful selected variety of botanicals. This quest for a healthier life is supporting the growth of consumers seeking to see scientific evidence supporting the supplement efficacy. The concerns of the consumer are addressed with Oxxynea, a heavily studied ingredient, fully characterized and clinically proven to be efficient and safe. Next slide, please. It is now widely recognized by the healthcare professionals and the governmental organization that a low consumption of fruit and vegetables is associated with a higher risk of developing non-communicable diseases. Indeed, there are many conditions that may promote the induction of oxidative stress, such as pollution, the tobacco, the UV exposure, the lack of physical activity, but also unhealthy diets or aging process. All are conditions that no one can avoid. A high oxidative stress status is responsible for a vicious circle triggering higher low-grade inflammation and progressive deterioration of the health status, leading to a higher occurrence of NCDs, non-communicable diseases, such as obesity, but also dyslipidemia, diabetes, or cardiovascular diseases. So now you understand a healthy way to counter this risk is to consume a significant serving of fruit and vegetables daily. According to the World Health Organization, the WHO, up to 3.9 million of people could be saved each year if fruit and vegetables intake were increased based on this evidence. And WHO issued recommendation for a 5-a-day minimum varied intake of fruit and vegetables, equaling to a total of 400 grams recommended consumptions daily. Next, yeah. Recommendations from WHO struggle to be followed, but the consumer are globally making efforts to maximize their intake of fruit and vegetables. Proactive consumers are taking a prevention over cure approach to health. researching about how to lead a healthier lifestyle and ingredients that can help facilitate this as they adopt a long-term approach to health. The benefits of fruit and vegetables is derived from the cumulative power of vitamins, the fibers, and other components. Nevertheless, the polyphenols are the first source of dietary antioxidant for humans. But what are the polyphenols? Polyphenols belong to a large group of phytochemicals. They are naturally present in plant-based food. They play a role in growth and cellular development by protecting against microorganisms, UV radiation, and many other possible activity that degrade the health condition of the humans. But polyphenols are at the core of the Mediterranean diet benefits. And the rapid elimination and the absence of storage of these polyphenols in our body explain the need of a regular intake. This is why we used to eat them in fruit and vegetables. These fruit and vegetables indeed provide the phenolic compounds answering the function of natural antioxidants that are metabolized by our organism and complete our endogenous pool of antioxidant defenses. Combined results from multiple studies around the world demonstrated that antioxidant homeostasis existed. These studies also pointed out that this equilibrium is deeply linked to the maintenance of good health status and that it is balanced with both endogenous antioxidant defenses, like superoxidase mutase, glutathione peroxidase, catalase, which are all enzymes that are corresponding to the set of defense in terms of antioxidant. But also, we have exogenous bioactive antioxidants delivered from various foods. Although the antioxidant capacity of food is derived from the accumulative and synergistic uh, antioxidant power of vitamins, of polyphenols and carotenoids, as an example, and other minor constituents also, polyphenols are the main antioxidant among them present in the fruit and vegetables. Accordingly, the consumption of fruit and vegetables, which is at the basis of WHO recommendation, would provide a tangible quantity of polyphenols, about 230 milligrams daily, that will conjointly contribute to the antioxidant defenses being metabolized at different times by our metabolism. Our daily habits include regular food intakes that shall all provide their count in fruit and vegetables to ensure a steady presence of circulating phenolic metabolites for whole-day protection. Following our tour of consumption, in Asia, the Malaysian population used to consume less than 2 servings a day of fruit and vegetables, followed by Indonesia, Philippines, and Thailand, where the consumption reaches slightly more than 3 servings a day. Over half of the Chinese adults meet the consumption of 400 grams a day, whereas less than 1 vitamins on 5 reaches the recommendations. So you understand how is it important to be able to fill this gap regarding what people used to consume in Asia and what is recommended by WHO. Based on these findings, Fytexia decided to develop Oxxynea, an ingredient designed to fulfill the nutrient gap from our food intake with a diversity of polyphenols, providing a 24-hour natural antioxidant load to mimic the benefits of a diverse diet and provide the same biological and physiological effect as a regular and diverse intake of fruit and vegetables, as it is recommended by the World Health Organization. Oxxynea offers in a unique daily intake of 450 milligram a variety of natural antioxidants from the 5 main families of polyphenols, such as the flavonoids or anthocyanins. These polyphenols are all going to play an important metabolic role, being released in the bloodstream at a different time according to their molecular structure. The botanical sources selected to enter the formula of Oxxynea have been carefully chosen to offer a diversity of polyphenols, providing the same antioxidant capacity as in 5 servings of fruit and vegetables. Oxxynea is built from a variety of botanical extracts from olive to orange, through bilberry and pomegranate, which all offer a full spectrum of polyphenols from different families, able to offer significant protection against oxidative stress during the whole day. The protective benefits provided by the consumption of Oxxynea. Next slide, please. Yes, thank you. The protective benefits provided by the consumption of Oxxynea have been evaluated in a clinical trial run in collaboration with the Research Center of the University of Murcia in Spain. A randomized, double-blind, and crossover protocol on 10 healthy subjects has been set to assess the protective effect of Oxxynea compared to a placebo when subjects are submitted to oxidative stress generated by our modern lifestyle. In this study, we evaluated the defenses of our organism during the postprandial period after a meal characterized as high fat and considered by our metabolism as stressful event, as can be exposure to the sun, smoke, or other parameters of our daily habits and environment generating oxidative stress. The study has been run on 10 men and women with normal BMI who received 450 milligram capsule on the first day of the study, after a washout period without any consumption of polyphenol, so their metabolism was clear from this exogenous form of antioxidant. Subject received 1 hour after the first consumption of the polyphenol from Oxxynea, a high-fat breakfast to induce an oxidative imbalance. It was a 1000 kilocalorie meal with a burger providing its calories from fats and carbs mainly, and also from proteins. Blood samples were collected just before the intake of the high-fat meal and at each hour during the postprandial period. Mean arterial pressure has been assessed as one of the markers of the metabolic effects of supplementation in polyphenols. We also collected the urines of the subjects during the study to track the release of the metabolites of the different families of polyphenols over the time. Let us now move to the first results we obtained with this interesting study. The pharmacokinetics of the release of the metabolites from the polyphenol of Oxxynea in the bloodstream allows confirming the bioavailability of the polyphenol from the different families engaged in the formula, as we have identified more than 40 different metabolites in the bloodstream. The bioavailability is a key parameter that represents the ingested quantity of polyphenols that reaches the systemic circulation to exert their beneficial effects in target tissues after the absorption. The pharmacokinetic data also allow us to confirm that one intake of Oxxynea provides a sustainable release of polyphenols over time to mimic the effect of a balanced daily intake during the day of fruit and vegetables. we observed from the metabolites identified in the urine that the polyphenol in Oxxynea are not excreted at the same time, confirming that the antioxidant production is spreading over time to extend our inner defenses much longer than readily after the intake. Let us now move to the results. On the blood sample taken from the subjects, we measured the malondialdehyde concentration in the plasma as a biomarker of lipid peroxidation. This marker, malondialdehyde or MDA, signs the attacks of the free radicals on the membranes of our cells. We see a significant increase on the left in the malondialdehyde production in the placebo group after the ingestion of the meal, which validates that this model of oxidative stress is an inducer. In the Oxxynea group, in green, the plasma MDA increased only 5 hours after the meal, demonstrating the readily available benefits of the consumption of polyphenols. The protective benefits also appear clear when we have a look at the cumulative production of MDA after a meal, with Oxxynea significantly limiting the postprandial production of MDA, showing then after a lowered oxidative stress from lipid peroxidation compared to the placebo in gray. The polyphenols from Oxxynea also provide physiological benefits, so in the center of the slide, that go beyond the fight against the antioxidant defenses. Indeed, as an example of these benefits, we have been calculating the mean arterial pressure of the subjects over time after the consumption of Oxxynea, and we observed an inverse causal relationship between the Oxxynea circulating phenolic metabolites and the mean arterial pressure variation over 24 hours, which means that when we have an increase of these metabolites, we have a reduction of the mean arterial pressure. Then, on the right of the slide, the overall defenses of subjects have been measured, taking into consideration the circulating antioxidant defenses and the pool of reserves of antioxidant defenses, both obtained by measuring the time of hemolysis of red blood cells over 50%, which is called the half hemolysis. We observe that regarding these endpoints, that the supplemented volunteers spared their antioxidant defenses and their reserves, whether endo and exogenous, providing better protection against the upcoming factors causing oxidative stress, which happens every day and days after days. Finally, to conclude, this study demonstrates the importance of consuming the polyphenols to fulfill the nutritional gap created by our modern diets and lifestyles and provide an antioxidant shield to protect the metabolism. The ideal is to add to its diet an equivalent of 5 additional servings of fruit and vegetables a day to obtain the benefits proven in this study. But Oxxynea can also be summed by the serving to complete the food intake. A daily single intake of Oxxynea provides a load of polyphenols bioavailable over 24 hours and contributes to the maintaining of the homeostasis of the antioxidant defenses that protect the overall metabolic functions. Regarding our ingredients, I would say that Oxxynea is GMO-free, food-based ingredient, and it's a solution which is recommended at the daily dose of 450 milligram to equal the same polyphenol quantity and diversity of antioxidant capacity as the one you would find from 5 servings of fruit and vegetables, as it is recommended by the World Health Organization. It can be used in different forms of supplement, such as dry forms or instant powders, and a certified organic grade is available. I would like to thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Julien, for your great sharing. Right, a gently reminder to the members of Floor, please key in your questions at the comment section and we'll bring it up to the speaker later sessions. Right, good morning. Dr. Julien, is that morning at your side?
Good morning.
Good morning, all right. Okay, since we have received a few questions from the floor, shall we start the next session? Dr. Julien, is that okay? The Q&A
Yes.
session?
Yes.
All right, so I'll read out the first questions, yeah, from Miss Jamie. All right, she asked what is used to define 450 mg of Oxxynea 5 a day equals to 5 serving fruits and vegetables.
This is a very interesting question from Jenny. Regarding this question, the best way to answer it is that we have to be back to the rationale, which is the recommendation of WHO to eat 5 portions of fruit and vegetables daily. Based on that, we have evaluated that it represents a diversity of polyphenols and a certain quantity. Based on the results from the literature, which are totally independent and published by academic research authors specialized on polyphenols, we have been able to calculate that this represents, from these 5 servings of fruit and vegetables, an amount of 230 milligrams of polyphenols daily. Accordingly, we have decided to develop Oxxynea to be able to fulfill this amount of polyphenols and this diversity. This is what we have done with the ingredients, and this is why we have a certain amount of different botanical extracts to provide this diversity and also this quantity. And Oxxynea complies with this recommendation. And what we demonstrate in our clinical study is that, like in a diet where we have a diversity of fruit and vegetables during the whole day, we have a long-term release of this metabolites during 24 hours. So this is completely the answer to this question, that Oxxynea is able, with this amount of daily consumption, to fulfill the recommendation of WHO.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Julien. One extra point I want to ask is that, is the 5 serving fruits and vegetables are the same ingredient that used for that tested is used for Oxxynea, or it's others types?
Can you repeat your question, please?
Is the 5 servings fruit and vegetable that you tested, is the ingredients is the same types that you use for the Oxxynea's ingredients?
In fact, what we did is that to set what are the recommended 5 portions of fruit and vegetables, because there are so many fruit and vegetables that people used to eat, is that we have been inspired by the Mediterranean diet, which is worldwide recognized for its beneficial effects. And there are so many studies that have demonstrated that the Mediterranean diet is at the basis of the reduction of risk factors for non-communicable diseases. Based on that, we have considered that what is used to be eaten in France is compliant with this recommendation, because French habits are are based on the seashore of the Mediterranean area and is inspired by this diet. So we have calculated by regarding what is generally used for and consumed from people from this diet. So this is why we have decided to provide this diversity regarding what we have in terms of botanical extract that we have decided to choose to build our ingredient Oxxynea. They are inspired by this Mediterranean diet because when we are speaking about citrus like orange or pomegranate or grapefruit or pomegranate or bilberry, these are all or olive. These are all sources that are regularly consumed within the Mediterranean diet. So the basis of that inspires us to develop the Oxxynea ingredient is definitely based on this recommendation and based on what has demonstrated its beneficial effects over the time, because this kind of diet is now, as I said, worldwide recognized since many decades in the world.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Julien. It's very clear for me. All right, so shall we move to the next questions from Putri? So what is the dosage recommend for children below 12 years old, and is it allowed for infant around 2 years old or maybe lower?
Regarding the children, what I would say is that the recommendations are the same regarding what WHO says. There is no restriction depending on who you are in terms of gender or who you are in terms of age. People, either children and adults, and even also elderly, should follow this recommendation of 5 servings of fruit and vegetables daily, because we have the same recommendation for all the population. There is no restriction for the children because once they are able they are not able to consume this 5 portion. It is always interesting for them to be able to fulfill this gap. And because the amount of polyphenols which is provided by Oxxynea is totally physiological and nutritional and comes from botanical extracts that corresponds to fruit and vegetables that are used to be consumed by people worldwide, there is no restriction once they follow the recommendation.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Julien. All right, there's another question from Wong Tai Xia. It's about how does the high ORAC value 5 a day polyphenols help in disease prevention?
Regarding the ORAC value, it's a good way to analyze the potential of antioxidant defenses. It's important that we are able to check that from batches to batches with our ingredients, we are able to maintain a certain amount of antioxidant defenses. And the ORAC value is a good way to appreciate that. Nevertheless, what is important is what we did during the clinical study when we demonstrated that during the postprandial period, where the oxidative stress is at its maximum, as we saw on the placebo group, we are able with Oxxynea to maintain it at a basal level, which means that at the end of this 5-hour period after the meal, what have been experienced by the volunteers of the study is that they have increased their oxidative stress in the placebo group, but the oxidative stress stayed stable, did not change from the baseline during the period of the consumption for the people that took the Oxxynea. So to be back to the ORAC value, it's a good way for us to appreciate that when we are producing a batch, it correspondingly fulfill the potential of antioxidant defense that we have demonstrated during the clinical study.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Julien. Okay, since you said Oxxynea is stable, there's a question from Miss Nurin about does it heat, freezing, light, and pH stable? Will this value affect the bioavailability of the Oxxynea?
Regarding the bioavailability of Oxxynea, this depends on various drivers. The most important drivers of that are able to drive the Oxxynea bioavailability is the human genetic, because we need to be able to transform them into metabolites. And regarding that, in terms, as an example of pH, we do not have any recommendation that would be a problem, because you may know that during the digestion process in our stomach, we are achieving a pH which is very low. So this is something normal for the digestive process. And then after, the genetic of the humans will do the job. But we have also an importance which is the role of the microbiota, because it will help us to digest a part of these polyphenols, and this is why we have a constant release at the end, because some of the polyphenols, they stay a longer time in the gut, and they are digested by the microbiota to be then after released. So regarding the bioavailability, the main drivers, they come from the human genetic and the genetic of the microbiota, but not from the pH consideration. So this is not something that is a contraindication regarding the formulation you may want to develop in a beverage or something else.
All right, thank you so much. And another questions from Jamie as well. She asked do you have any plans to further conduct the study, as the current one has only 10 subjects? I think she's saying the one in Spain, the study.
Yes. So regarding the clinical study, what is important to remind is that regarding a study, the number of volunteers we need to have in a study to consider that the study is significant and relevant depends on what we are measuring. To measure the bioavailability of this kind of ingredients, usually 10 people in crossover is sufficient. What is important is that we choose for that this design, which is very specific, which is crossover. Crossover means that each individual is at turn placebo or is exposed to the supplement Oxxynea. The same people will take the two, placebo and the treatment, which means that at the end we have at least 20 people and not 10, because they take the two supplements. And even we can consider that we have more than 20, because running a study in crossover significantly reduce the inter-individual variability. So based on a scientific point of view, and according to what we observe that is usually done in the literature, 10 people in crossover to demonstrate this kind of bioavailability is sufficient. But as Fytexia has in its DNA an activity of research which is deeply anchored in the academic cross relationship, and because regarding all our ingredients, we would like to continue to invest in the long term to continue to provide our customers with good science and demonstration of the beneficial effects. For sure, Oxxynea, as all the other ingredients we have in the range, will continue to be investigated, including during clinical interventions. So everything is in the pipeline, and in the future, for sure, you will be provided with the next step of investigation.
All right, great. Thank you so much. How about, is the product halal certified? I think this is a very concern issue in Malaysia.
Yes, so regarding the certification, so I'm not maybe the best person uh, to um, to speak about the certification because this is something very specific. Maybe what I recommend you is that for these certifications, our commercial team and especially Clemens, which is based in Malaysia, will be able to give you the best answer regarding this kind of certification. What I know is that when it is appropriate, we have ingredients in the portfolio that are halal. So regarding Oxxynea, I'm not the best specialist of the certification, but Clemens will be able to answer you.
Sure, sure. All right, I'll pick the more scientific questions for you, Miss Dr. Julien. All right, so the next question is from Xian. So the question is, does the antioxidant effect differ if one take Oxxynea before and after an high-fat meal?
Okay, so as you saw in the presentation, once we take the pill, we launch the chrono, and we have the release that start to appear with pharmacokinetic patterns. So we don't mind if at the end we take at 8 o'clock in the morning or at 9 o'clock in the morning, because if you take it on a regular basis daily, and because we have a constant release of 24 hours, at the end, if you take every 24 hours, at the end, very rapidly, you will have a high level of polyphenol in a constant way in the organism. So, as we did in the communication of this presentation, and based on our clinical study, for sure, people took 1 hour before the meal because it was like that. We wanted to have everyone doing the same thing, but based on the fact that if you have to consider a regular consumption daily, because this is what is recommended by WHO. We don't really mind if you take at 8, 9, or 10 in the morning. What is important is that you take every day and days after days.
All right, great. So there's another question from Gestia. She's asking, is there any comparison done in terms of polyphenol spectrums of the grade WS and also the grade 5 a day? And it's how many? Oh, sorry, you could go on.
Yes, it's a very interesting question, and it's a very difficult question to answer in few words, because what is important to know is that polyphenol is a very huge word. There are thousands and thousands of polyphenols identified in all the plants and botanicals. If we only speak about fruit and vegetables, we reduce the number of polyphenols, but there are still hundreds that are remaining. What we try to do is to identify that from what would be a recommended diet, we have a quantity, we have a diversity, and we have subfamilies, and we have an habit that, because we are eating mainly 3 times a day with the 3 main meals, sometimes 4 main meals, we have a constant consumption of these polyphenols, because you saw that they are in the presentation that they do not stay for a long term, each individually, and they are not stored. This is why we have to eat many times a day. But the way we know how they are metabolized let us to optimize the way to provide them to the organism. And this is why we decided to use these kind of botanicals. They are not here because they were looking fancy. They are here because they are able to provide these subfamilies and these specific polyphenols that are able to be metabolized when taken only one time. They are being able to be metabolized on different patterns, and at the end they are able to cover the whole day protection.
Okay, great. So the next question, I'll be combining Najatol Najemi and also Chi Zahir Zaino's questions. So they ask if the individuals take fruits and vegetables 2 to 4 serving daily, will taking Oxxynea might cause any overdose of polyphenols, and also any side effects, negative side effects upon overdosing consumption?
Okay, yeah, this is an interesting question. Regarding the consumption of polyphenols, what I've been speaking about is the consumption from fruit and vegetables. But you may know that we are also have other sources of polyphenols, which are coming from the beverage we are drinking daily. Uh, Tea as a beverage, or coffee, or fruit juice. These are so many kinds of sources of other polyphenols, and usually we can consider that people that are eating a sufficient amount of polyphenols, they may achieve something that goes until 1 gram daily of polyphenols. So if they are eating sufficient fruit and vegetables, and in addition to that, Oxxynea, there is no risk in this consideration that there is an over consumption of polyphenols.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Julien. All right, next up we have from Kitty Yin Lok. She asks if what is the main benefit claims by Oxxynea?
Regarding the main benefits is that, in fact, if you look at our life, uh, from day to day, nothing change in terms of metabolism, in terms of the way our physiology is evolving. But if you look at your life from your birth to the end of the life when you are an elderly, many things have changed. And we have to feed the organism with what is required to maintain it the more stable it is. Because nutrition is before all the way you are able to maintain the things working properly. It's like this is summarized in a word which is called homeostasis. So nutrition is the way and the art of maintaining homeostasis. So if we consider from day to day, it's not a big deal if you have a specific diet with a lot of oxidative stress. But at the end, if you do that every day of your life, the process of aging will be accelerated. So Oxxynea main benefits is maintaining you in the best condition, to be at the best equilibrium, to be able to, from days to day, continue to evolve, like if the lifestyle, if the environment has less impact on your life. So it has to be viewed in the long term.
All right, after listening to your explanation, I think I'll have Oxxynea every day to stay at my best state of my health conditions. All right, so we don't have much time left, but we'll move on to the next few questions, shall we, Dr. Julien? Is that okay?
Yes.
All right, so J. Louis asked for each serving of Oxxynea is in tablet form, capsule, or powder form. Is it able to do in such applications?
Yes. So the way we have developed the ingredients is a powder. But based on this powder and because of ability to formulate it in various delivery systems like tablet, capsule, sachet, there is no restriction. It will depend on what you may want to provide to your customer and what will be the best way for them to appreciate these ingredients and ingest it daily. So there are no kind of restriction regarding this delivery system.
Very interesting and flexible. All right, so the next question is about, does Oxxynea can be easily incorporated into meal replacement or sachet powder, dry powder mix formulations?
So regarding this kind of formulation, what is important to remind is that because Oxxynea is composed of natural polyphenols, among which we have anthocyanins especially, we have a color. So if you want to develop meal replacement, there is no restriction, but you have to consider that the color will have an impact. So depending on the color, maybe you will choose the flavors you will want to put in the formula with the ingredients. This is something, maybe this is the only consideration which is important, because if you say that it's flavored with vanilla and the product is red, maybe it will be confusing for the customer, but it can be done. So you have to consider the color regarding the formula in this kind of delivery system.
Okay, great. Understood. All right, so another question from SFW. The question is, what is the recommended dosage for normal food product? Is that the same dosage that you recommend in your slide?
So in our demonstration, what we wanted to do is that we wanted to highlight the fact that when people are not consuming enough polyphenols, there is a problem. And we have identified the problem because we have demonstrated that the model we developed is valid, because we have increased the oxidative stress, we have the mean arterial pressure, which is at a certain amount, and we have used the reserve of antioxidant defenses. So this is what we have demonstrated. And with Oxxynea, we show that when you do not eat polyphenols, if you eat the good amount, we have good results. So our recommendation is that you are able, from what people are usually consuming, and I show you that depending on the country in Southeast Asia you are coming from, the daily habits are quite different in Malaysia, in Philippines, in China, in Vietnam. They are different. But based on what individually someone is used to eat daily in terms of food vegetables, he can fulfill the gap. He can evaluate and fulfill the gap in terms of polyphenols. But if he goes beyond, and as I said just previously in the previous questions, if he goes beyond consuming more polyphenols than the 5 portions, it's not a big deal, because usually we are also consuming polyphenol from beverages, and we can achieve easily 1 gram daily, which is totally physiological. What is important is this diversity we have with Oxxynea, because with the diversity, we have a synergistic effect. Because it's better to have this diversity than having only 1 polyphenol that will stay for 3 hours, no more in the body, and after that, what's up? So what we could recommend is that you follow the recommendation from WHO, and if you cross them, you go beyond, it's not a big deal once it is only a few servings more daily.
All right, thank you, Dr. Julien, for answering in such detailed explanations. But unfortunately, we are slightly out of our schedule, and we have to apologize that I'm afraid that we might not be able to take in more questions. But do not worry, we will follow up your questions and get back to you at the soonest. Is that okay, Dr. Julien?
For sure. So don't
Or do you
hesitate
want to answer every questions from the comment sections?
Yeah, so we can deal with the question then after and provide you with the answers. You will be able to reply to all those people, attendees that have asked this very interesting question.
Okay, sure, Dr. Julien, thank you. So once again, on behalf of Nexus Wise, I would like to thank Fytexia and the representative, Dr. Julien, for your professional sharing and also co-hosting in this session with us. And besides, we would also like to express our appreciations to all the participants for taking your time out of your busy schedules to attend. Right? So please do contact our sales representative or reach us at the number or email if below to have further discussions. Your meaningful participations and active engagement completed our purpose of these live sessions. And also, we also look forward to your continued participations in the future. All right, so lastly, if you have not subscribed, follow or like us on our Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, or YouTube, please do so because we might have some most updated industrial news and products that you might be interested of. I would also like to close my remarks and officially announce the end of this YouTube Live. All right, till we meet again, stay safe and thank you. Goodbye. Thank you so much, Dr. Julien.
Thank you to you all. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you to Nexus Wise. And I'm waiting for your question that I will be a pleasure to answer them after.
Sure, we'll pass you the questions.
Thank you. Bye-bye.